Hey, what's up, geeks? So in this video, I'm going to tell you why I hate using dependencies. All right, so the way I got the idea for this video was that the company's actually growing. I actually brought on somebody to help manage the marketing within the company, and he was looking at a few different things. And then one of the questions that he asked me was like, "Man, do you code all of this?" Referring to the courses. He was looking at the courses that I had, and he's like, "You do all the coding for everything that you build?" He's like, "There isn't any kind of like helpers or like any kind of like tool that you can use to help you build this stuff out." And then that's when we got into the discussion of dependencies. Now, I explained to him why I prefer not to include dependencies within the courses that I teach, but then also how it just like it hurts you as a developer in the long run. So I want to get into that and basically have the conversation with you that I had with him. Now, before I actually do that, if you're interested in learning React Native, check out the link below. There's a link in the description to a free course, and then also you can check out the website GeekMODE.tech. Okay, so the reason you don't want to use dependencies, at least I prefer not to use dependencies, and I'm thinking as somebody that works as a professional React Native developer, you do not want to tie your business to someone else. Now, if you have core functionality within your application, even styling is core functionality because your entire application is styled. And if you're dependent on an application, a system like React Paper or something like that, and React Paper stops being maintained, then it's like your application is tied to a dependency that is deprecated. And that's dangerous. And if a company say working for a multi-million-dollar corporation, and the upper management has trusted you to build this application, to build this feature, and now you have to let them know like, hey, what we were using that we did not have to use is now deprecated, and it's gonna take a long time to actually move the application away from that. They're gonna be pissed off. They're not gonna understand why this is important or how this happened. But really what it comes down to is poor planning on a software developer. So when I built these courses, I purposely do not use any dependencies that I do not have to use to build these applications. It's important that you, as somebody that's new to React Native, you get all the repetition that you need. Some of it can be mundane, some of it can seem repetitive, but I promise you, this is going to benefit you in the long run. You do not want to, as a software developer, you don't want to be lazy. I've worked for companies, honestly, man, it happens a lot I've been in positions where companies want to build the application from scratch, and they'll hire me, and it'll be me and another person in Ukraine and another person somewhere in South America, and we'll be building this application, and we're not even like really building it with our own code. We're building it with somebody else's code. We're building it with a dependency that hasn't been updated in over a year. And we're doing that just for the sake of speed. Now, for me as a developer, when I see this, I just immediately makes my stomach crawl. I think, oh my God, this person is lazy, and we're hurting this company in the long run. We're not learning anything. We could have actually built this. We could have built it ourselves in no time. I've been in situations where we're using React Native Paper, and I'm like, why? You still have to reference the style. You still have to style your app. React Native Paper is not going to make it easier. Yes, it comes with built-in buttons, but still, it doesn't take too much time to use a component like touchable, opacity, or pressable, and then build a button. The time it saves you is really minimal. And so it does, for me, I don't think it's worth it tying my entire business or another company's business to a dependency that is not maintained by me. Also, another reason why I do not like using dependencies that I don't need to use is because of documentation. Some of these dependencies that you use are like self-explanatory, but in a lot of cases, there's going to be a lot of documentation that you're going to have to read to actually, before you use this dependency. At least I hope you read it before you use it. I mean, I've been in positions where it does what I want it to do. I yarn add or npm install. But when it comes to adding special functionality, you're most likely going to have to read a lot of documentation, and then you're going to have to like really investigate the code to really make sure it does exactly what you need it to do. I think it's just a lot more simple if I use regular React Native components and I take those components and then I build something I built something from scratch myself because I have a better understanding of how it actually works. I know what certain props can do. I know, I also know how to update those props. I have the power to update those props basically, and just customize them to my liking. But a lot of times, if you are using another library, that means that you're tied to their props. And then also, if you want to do any customization, that means that you have to go into that library, customize it, and you're going to have to like save some kind of local version of that dependency, because every time you install it, you do a yarn install, an npm install, or yarn install. Then it's that you're going to have to reload those dependencies, and then you're going to have to update that dependency with the code that you've updated with previously. So for me, it's just not worth the headache. There are dependencies that you do have to use if you are a React Native developer, but that's not the focus of this video. We're mainly focusing on dependencies that you don't have to use, and that are basically just, in the long term, they really hurt you. Now, my final and last argument for why you do not want to use dependencies is because you become a better developer. It's going to take you some time to really feel seasoned enough to build something from scratch, but learning how to do that, learning what's available in React Native, learning what its possibilities are, what its limits are, that's gonna help you become just like a way stronger developer in general. When you tie your application to another dependency, is basically what you're saying is that you don't want to invest the mental power to figure it out yourself. So because you're not like really building like that mental strength, that mental fortitude, is conditioning you to be lazy basically. So when you actually learn how to build some of these complex components, you learn how to build I've done this before because I've used React Native like calendars, but there was a time where I built my own calendar, and because I built my own calendar, I was able to customize it and have it do what I wanted to do. I run into situations with React Calendar that I could not get it to look the way that I wanted it to look, and there was a lot of work around that. But learning how to build my own calendar month by month, and then add some kind of like functionality that allows me to add like vacation days and unavailable days, just add things like that to my calendar, it really helped me understand like the thought process to building a complex component like a calendar. Now that's probably a really major complex feature. Similar also, I've done things like record audio. I've done that before, and you see all the built-in components in React Native, and also the built-in components into like, I want to say like native code as well, that go into play when you actually have to take on a feature like that. Just going through that and building that muscle to actually take a feature from scratch, and then knowing how to use what's available, that's going to make you way better. It's going to help you understand software development on a major scale. So that's nothing, no course, no mentor, nothing can replace that. So that's one of the main reasons why I wouldn't want to use any kind of dependencies as a software developer. Now for this topic, I really want to hear back from you. I would love to hear what you have to say, because this is a topic I go through. I have with other developers on the team, and we'll go back and forth about what we should do, and this is what makes it fun. So if you have an opinion on this video, go ahead and leave your opinion. I'll leave a response to it, and I'll follow up with another video on why you should use dependencies within your React Native applications. So anyways, if you're interested in learning React Native, look at the description below for the free course, and I'll catch you next time. All right, peace.